I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let the record show all members are present.
Scott, I'll move the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Motion to move the consent agenda. Okay, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Hearing none, motion passes. First up, we have Matt Wyatt, Director, Planning and Zoning, and Pam Paulstrip, Acting Director, Public Hearing on the proposed preliminary plat of the Boonies. Is that, pronounce that right? The Boonies subdivision situated, pardon?
That's nice.
A subdivision situated in Lewis Township, and to approve and authorize the board to sign Planning and Zoning Resolution number 2021-3.
So moved. I'll second that. It's just the two lots, correct?
Correct.
This is just to open the public hearing. Roll call.
Chairman Belt.
Aye.
Supervisor Shea.
Aye.
Wickman.
Aye.
Groby.
Aye.
Schultz.
Aye.
Okay, is there anybody on the phone? Okay, nobody's on the phone. Anybody want to speak in favor?
Yeah, my name is Nick Hansen, 1440 Rolling Hills Loop. I'm here representing the owner on trying to get the subdivision passed. Basically, it's just a simple split, single parcel with Chestnut Road already dividing it. We'd like to make it official that the single parcel could be split by the road into two separate.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Anyone speaking opposed?
I like the name.
Thank you.
Do we?
Do we need to ask for anything?
Matt?
I can let Pam speak on it.
Okay, so this is, Chestnut is official bituminous. Nick had come to us a while back to divide this into two lots. As he said, Chestnut's already dividing it naturally. So it'll create a two-lot subdivision he plans on building fairly soon. And then the other lot, it's not proposed to be built on at this time. But the Planning and Zoning Commission approved it and didn't have any issues with it, so.
I'll move to close public hearing.
I'll second.
Motion to close public hearing. Roll call.
Chairman Belt.
Aye.
Supervisor Shea.
Aye.
Wickman.
Aye.
Schultz.
Aye.
Groby.
Aye.
Now I need
I'll
a
make a
motion.
motion to approve and authorize the board to sign planning and zoning resolution 2021-03.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? So do the owners decide what the subdivision names will be then?
No, actually, it was mine. They left it to me, so. Although they did approve, I guess her maiden name was Booney.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
And that name does go through the auditor's office, and so I'm sure if somebody were to suggest something, out of line, that it would be brought to the attention of the board. And
That's great.
Okay. Roll call.
Chairman Belt.
Aye.
Supervisor Wickman.
Aye.
Groby.
Aye.
Schultz.
Aye.
Shea.
Aye.
Okay, next up, we have a public hearing
Thanks, Nick.
on.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Public hearing on the proposed designation of the Heartland Ridge subdivision urban renewal area.
I'll move to
Second.
Roll call?
Chairman Belt,
Aye.
Supervisors Wickman, Groby,
Aye.
Schultz,
Aye.
Shay.
Aye.
Okay, public hearing is open. Anyone speaking in favor?
We're here to speak in favor. I think you guys know the basics of what we're planning to do out there, taking.
Mark, real quick, can you give, your name and address?
Oh, sure. Mark Hanwright with Heartland Properties. My address, 23974 Pioneer Trail.
You get that, Becky?
Yes.
2397, okay.
Taking a 131 acre parcel currently assessed at 110,000, generating the county tax base of just over $2,200. Planning to convert to an 88 lot acreage division. Proposed tax assessment based on average assessed value of 575 would boost your assessed value north of 50 million, generating approximately 723,000 annual tax income for the county.
Anyone speaking against? Anybody on the phone? Crickets. Motion to close public hearing?
Make motion.
Second.
Roll call?
Chairman Belt,
Aye.
Supervisor Shay,
Aye.
Schultz,
Aye.
Groby,
Aye.
Wickman.
Discussion and/or decision to approve and authorize the board to sign resolution number 27-2021 to declare necessity and establish an urban renewal area pursuant to section 403.4 of the Iowa Code of Iowa, and approve urban renewal plan and projects for the Heartland Ridge subdivision urban renewal area.
So moved. Second.
That's resolution 97-2021.
Right. Discussion?
I think we discussed it a bunch.
You got anything?
All of these next steps that we're gonna take are, we've been under the guidance of Dorsey. Pam's worked very close with them on, ensuring that we have all of our steps in the right order for the urban renewal plan. We already have the joint agreement signed, with the city of Council Bluffs, so this is our next step in that, now designate the urban renewal plan and the urban renewal area. And then we have been negotiating back and forth, with Mark and his group on the developers agreement, so we have that all pretty well laid out, and we'll be able to bring that to you in draft form, so that way I believe you guys have all had the opportunity to review that and offer any comments that you've had, and get that signed and off and running.
Is this the first one we've done with Dorsey Whitney? Or?
Armstrong Development,
Oh, you did Armstrong.
not the entire proceedings, but the TIP ordinance and I think the development.
We switched over from Alhers and Clooney. We really weren't getting much response.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
And kind of guidance from them. Dorsey's really been more proactive with us and keeping up with everything. They're responsive to our questions that we have with them. So I think everybody's had a good interactions with them so far.
I'm not sure who we use for Heartland Country, for Bentry. I thought we used maybe Dorsey or we didn't.
I think it was Eilers.
Dorsey did our trainer subdivision
Yeah.
project as well
Right,
more
right.
recently, which is
We
good.
did one up at Crescent too.
Yeah.
It was very thorough.
Okay.
Mark, what needs to happen before you can start your plating and your interior work and all that stuff? Anything on our side?
I don't believe so. We got a good design that Matt's reviewed and the various departments of the county have reviewed. We have some grading work on site to get through, and then the delivery of the water line, which I believe is projected for September of next year, so that's.
Is that still on track, Pam?
Mm-hmm.
So we're hoping to be selling lots in 2023.
Awesome.
Any other?
Get some dirt to get rid of, right?
Mhm.
Some dirt, so.
No other discussion, roll call?
Chairman Belt,
Aye.
Supervisors Wickman,
Aye.
Groby,
Aye.
Schultz,
Aye.
Shay.
Aye.
Okay, this is number 4, discussion and/or decision to approve first consideration of ordinance number 2021-05 entitled an ordinance providing for the division of taxes levied on taxable property in the Heartland Ridge subdivision urban renewal area pursuant to section 403.19 of the Iowa Code. First consideration and set the date for second consideration.
I'll make the motion to approve, and then we can set the, it's not listed, but when you want to set the
Can
second
that be
date.
done on the 14th, Pam?
14th, yes.
I'll second.
Yeah, you guys okay with that, 14th?
So the date is September 14th.
Just 10 a.m. is fine,
Yep, 10 a.m. 2021.
as long as you guys are okay with 10 a.m., right?
You got it.
I got a first and a second. Any other discussion? Okay, roll call.
Chairman Belt,
Aye.
Supervisors Shay.
Aye.
Schultz.
Aye.
Groby.
Aye.
Wickman.
Okay, 5 is discussion and/or decision to approve and authorize board to sign resolution number 98-2021, setting a date of meeting at which it is proposed to approve a development agreement with JJHP LLC, including tax increment payments.
When will that be ready, Pam?
September 21st.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
You're gonna get us a draft of what you've got so
Yes.
far, right?
September 21st.
First at 10.
10 a.m. Any other discussion? Hearing none. Roll call.
Chairman Belt,
Aye.
Supervisors Wickman,
Aye.
Groby,
Yes.
Schultz,
Aye.
Shay.
Okay.
John, Mark, thanks.
Thank you.
Appreciate you guys.
Yep,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Get it going.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yep.
You're welcome, Steve, you want, okay.
What's that?
Oh, just like me, just don't stick on, I didn't want to.
Excuse me. Discussion and/or decision to approve and authorize chairman to sign 2080 agreement with Mills County to assist with electrical inspections.
Is this a limited time or is this permanent?
This is for a limited time frame. Mills County reached out to us. The Board of Supervisors decided to end their agreement with JAS, who had been conducting their inspections for them. That's Darren Wetcott. He originally established our program here in Pottawatomie County for us that we took over in 2011. In Mills County, they had a little different setup. They actually had him contracted for the building inspections, but then he was also their planning and zoning director. And for whatever reasons the board had, they decided to end that contract with him. But when they ended it, they did not end it in a phased out approach to finish the permits that they had already given to residents out there. And so what they found themselves in is with these electrical permits, the state will not come in and inspect them because they were permitted by the county. They can't refund the permits and have them reapply through the state because the project's already been started. And so there are a number of permits left out there that in order for them to get permanent power at, they have to finish the permit that was issued to them. And so our scope and what this will be is that we're only gonna be there to inspect what Mid-Am needs to establish permanent power. Once permanent power is established, then that's it for us. If somebody, say, if they have a permit out there and it's for a person to add electrical to a pole barn. Well, that doesn't involve Mid-American Energy, and so therefore it doesn't need to involve us on the inspection side. They're just gonna run power over to it, wire up however they see fit. Hopefully it meets code and move on with it. So we're just gonna, if they have a new home that was being in the middle of construction, then they're gonna need us to come in there and do the rough-in inspection and a final inspection on it, so that way Mid-American Energy can establish the permanent power designation on it, and it's not a temp power. Because when you first go to construct a house, we will go out and conduct an inspection on their box that they set out there to establish temp power. They run their temp power off of that throughout the project until such time as they get to the final, and then that's when we tag it for permanent power. So those are gonna be the only ones that we inspect, is already established permits until that permanent power phase is right there.
And then they're going to contract with someone else after that, or what?
I'm not exactly sure. It sounds as though right now that they've just kind of ended their building inspections program. And they're, from my understanding is they're just gonna have the residents and contractors sign off on a piece of paper saying that they built it to code. We've had a number of contractors who come in our office who are pretty upset at those inspections being taken away. Because it really levels the playing field for contractors. Everybody has to be licensed with the state, everybody's constructing to the same standard. And so that way when, word's gonna get out and people are gonna come in there, they're gonna get things built not to code. LVLs won't be put in place, where they can substitute out other lumber for. Electrical, if it's already on site, they're not gonna get permits through anywhere. And there's a lot of life safety issues that come along with that. I also tried to talk to them a little bit about just what their ISO rating, what that means for their county as far as insurance wise and people being able to get homeowners insurance and the rates at what they pay. But I think that, whatever agendas they have down there, reasonings why they do. I think we've seen a lot of benefit of a building inspections program here in Potawatomi County. We continue to see those benefits. So why they kind of jumped back on their processes down there, especially when they showed me the number of permits they have outstanding. They really have a lot of permits down there. It was.
Is Glenwood, they're building a couple subdivisions right now, aren't they?
They must have out there in rural Mills County, yes. Yeah, there's a lot of building that's going on down there.
Is that gonna take away from our time here in this county? I worry about that.
It will, but that's the reason when they asked us for help, it had to be such a limited scope, because our guys don't have, we have 2 guys out there doing these inspections right now, and we have the county split in half. So one of them covers everything north of Highway 6, one of them covers everything south of Highway 6. And they don't have a lot of extra time in their day, and so when we whittled these things down, we're like, it has to be only for the ones that Mid-Am needs. Once the Mid-Am part's out of it, then we're out of it.
This is a fee too, don't we?
Oh, yeah.
Do we go back to hours or something? or-
We're billing them a $75 trip charge, and then it's $75 per hour for a minimum of 2 hours. So it'll be $225 every time we cross over into Mills County to conduct an inspection.
So are we gonna wind up with some overtime from these inspectors in our county?
No,
Will this impact, some of our contractors getting their inspections done on time?
I wouldn't say on time.
When they need it?
We will be able to cover all the inspections. I won't say that there's gonna be a time that anybody's gonna miss an inspection. I wouldn't have taken it on or tried to take it on.
I mean, I guess at the end of the day, if we need to push one of ours ahead of, you can reschedule that, right?
Right.
You guys can work that schedule, make sure that, not to say that we should be first, but we should be priority at least. 'cause we're
We told Mills County that they're gonna need to give us a 48-hour notice. So you give us 48 hours and the contractor's phone number, that way our guys can call them and fit it in with their schedule on getting down there to get the inspection done.
I guess the way I see it is like, okay, we move forward with this, no problem. If it starts not working, just let us know so we can end it. I mean,
I'm concerned about it, really.
lock ourselves in
How
anything
long
here.
is this gonna go? Hey, is it gonna be a permanent deal?
No, it's not gonna be a permanent deal. We can't
6 months?
maybe 3 months.
Okay. That helps me.
If they don't have their permits cleaned up within that 3 month, I mean, they're not issuing more permits. So, the ones that they have out there, that would think that their board would want those things closed out as soon as possible because they don't have the personnel down there anymore.
By the 1st of December, we should be cleaned up,
Yeah.
and this is just to help them. Okay.
It's just a temporary fix for the permits they have outstanding.
Okay.
I just don't want us to be second fiddle to anything. If we have a contractor out there that needs their inspection done, I want that taken care of first. Mills County is behind us for everything.
I'm 100% with you on that.
All right.
Okay,
You won't need to hire anybody
I'll
either,
make the
right?
motion to approve.
Well, 2 more people,
I'll
but
second the motion.
well,
Will you report back to us, kind of see how we're doing with that, Matt? Just,
two things. One, the attorney looked over the 2080, right?
I did forward it on to them.
Okay, you don't got anything back?
No.
Okay. Well, they got a typo in Article 6 there. Sure it's supposed to say electronic format with the Secretary of State of Iowa. Show up on there.
Oh, I see what you got.
And then secondly, are we protected by the Iowa code from any liability that would happen there in Mills County then? Or is there some protection for?
So I mean, since there's a 2080 agreement, does Mills County end up taking the liability on that from us? So
When
you
those
send your
folks-
inspector down there and he doesn't do it right and they can prove it, are we, how does it work?
Yeah, do you know?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay. Well, if we could check into that, that'd be good too. Just, I mean, we got a lot of 2080s, and I'm not opposed to, I mean, I agree that we should be first in line, but when we need help between the counties, then we want to hopefully they'll reciprocate if that ever comes to that. So.
All of our inspectors are certified electrical inspectors, correct, Matt?
Correct.
So,
How do you feel about that liability part, Matt?
I can say that to date, our inspectors up here haven't had an instance in where they haven't done it correctly. And so I would hope that that would carry on. As they're gonna conduct their work just as professionally down there as they do up here. I don't know how that liability will work out. I mean, there's
Should we write something into the
2080
agreement?
agreements there.
Can we write something into the agreement? I'm sure that'd be a legal question.
Yeah, it's more kind of a matter of Leanne.
Is this time sensitive, Matt?
It's pretty time sensitive for them. We did conduct an inspection for them last week, under kind of the guise of that, yeah, we would get this, we would get this approved.
I guess at the end of the day, we have coverage to cover our people doing this task, so if something were to happen, I mean, it's not like we're out in the wind screwed, that's not the case. And they are certified to do this, general 2080 agreements will follow back to the county that's having that agreement, so I mean, I don't see how this would be any different than another one. It'd be no different if we provided law enforcement service down there with a mutual aid agreement down there that we do all the time.
yeah,
The liability falls back on the county that's in charge of mills.
I think we have that with almost all the counties around us.
You know, I've only had 2 encounters with our permitting or inspection team, and they were very professional, and I don't think they miss anything. And not only that, if you have good contractors, licensed contractors,
They wanna do it right.
they're gonna do it right. So I don't have any issues with this. Matt, I'd like for you to see if you can push it back to Matt or Leanne and see if we need to make an amended 2080 or not on the liability part of it. Other than that, I'm okay with it.
Matt's available, he was down here, he said if there was something that we needed, we could,
We call him quick?
I don't know if you want.
He said to call him if we had any questions. He was just in the office.
With respect, I think we ought to give Matt an opportunity to read this and take a look at it, not make a.
I mean, how about we just approve it, and then you go take it upstairs,
Yep.
have them look at it, and if you see an amendment, bring it back to us, we'll amend it, and we'll move forward.
Is that a motion?
Yeah,
I'll second that.
I'll amend my
Well,
motion.
he's got a motion already and a.
So I guess I'll
second by
amend my
Shane.
motion to tentatively
I'll second
approve,
that.
subject to legal.
Okay.
I agree.
Yeah,
I know, sir.
Okay.
Just wanna cover our butts. You know that.
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, like sign, hearing none, motion passes.
Thanks, you guys.
Thanks.
Yeah, he said he was gonna be up there, Matt, so.
Okay, I'll go run upstairs.
Send the text that you're annoyed.
David Bear, CIO, and or Jana Limerick, Director HR. Discussion and or decision to approve time clock and
Somebody's going off.
for new,
Well, come right up here in the front row here so we can hear you.
timekeeping system.
So we were here maybe a month ago to get the approval and the funding for the executive time project, timekeeping project. In that meeting, we had said that we would be back with the time clock quote, and that's what this is here. We met with each department to ask them how they were planning to keep time in this new system to get the time clock count. That's what you have in front of you is the results of that. After the tally, there were 20 clocks that are needed throughout the county, and this is the quote for those 20 clocks. So
What do we have now for clocks?
right now, we have 7 clocks, and the reason for the increase, the dramatic increase, is we're only using Chronos, the current system, for half of our users. So because we're going to a full county system with everybody on the same system, we need 20 clocks, and the lion's share of them are gonna be at the roads shops. They'll have 8 of these 20. So that's why the increase.
Per unit cost.
The per unit's about $2,100, $2,200, I should say.
And the maintenance is $43.90 per year for all of them?
Correct.
What, do we own the Cronus clocks then or not?
We do own those, yes. So once we were to remove those, we would look to sell those on our auction website most likely, or
Right.
see if Chronos would buy them back or something like that.
I would think so, I mean,
There's some value to them, I think.
oh yeah, I would think so.
What's the longevity of these, you think, David?
We've had the Chronos clocks since we went live a decade ago, and we've not replaced a single one.
Okay.
So this is gonna be similar to that, I would think. And we pay maintenance, so the maintenance would cover any repairs or fixes or firmware upgrades or things like
Do
that.
they look, there's another picture here. Do they look similar to the Cronus clock then, or are they different?
They're similar, I mean, they're a 10-inch screen. You can check your balances, your time off balances on them. You can clock in, clock out. You can change how your time is. So if you clock in and you're a shift A person, but you're working on a holiday, you can make those adjustments on there. So they'll use your proximity card to clock in, clock out. So there's not, that's the only way to clock in, clock out is to swipe your card next to it. It takes a second to walk by it and it'll make a little beeping sound and then you're clocked in. Same thing on the way out.
But go ahead.
So our roads guys have to go to their shops every day?
They can, that would be one of the options. It depends on if they're gonna use schedules or use the phone. There's 4 different options in keeping time, but they're definitely gonna use the clocks as their primary method.
Now they use phones.
Right now, they use phones.
Are they
Well, and that
geofenced?
changed with COVID. So prior to COVID, they went into the shop to clock in with Chronos.
Okay.
And then because of COVID, we want to eliminate, then Tina went ahead and had it set up where they could use their phones to clock in.
We can So if we use a phone app or something to log in, I mean, do we have the ability to, you know, check it and see where they're actually clocking in from physically?
Mhm.
So we know they're not sitting in their driveway and clocking in.
It captures the geographic location of the phone, punch in, punch out.
They can still use their phone, they don't have to go to the shop.
Correct. If that's the way it's engineered when we set it up, yes, they can use the clock. And we can set up geofencing so they can't clock in from their house, they clock in from the site or wherever they're at.
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel like we're gonna have that issue, you know, we tell people, hey, here's the deal, here's your app, you can use it, or you can use the, most people that come in an office are gonna use the clock in, clock out thing, it's just easier, because you don't have to go through 5 screens to get to it. So,
Do they clock out for lunch?
They can.
They can, and it just depends on how the department wants it set up. You could have it set up where it's an automatic. I already have your lunch scheduled in there. Yeah, so they wouldn't need to go to the shop and then come
Right,
back to the shop at
right.
lunch. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
No, we'll take care of that.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, that'd be a hassle.
So, if I
Yeah.
am employee A, and I scan, and I'm working, whatever you wanna call the A shift or the first shift, I scan my clock in, and does the clock make an inquiry and say, this is a holiday, do you want your holiday pay, or how's that?
Does it know that it's a holiday is what you're asking?
Well, or who?
And automatically do the calculation,
Does the
yeah.
employee
it
gotta
does.
know that, or is
No,
the
it would
clock-
know that.
The clock will ask them, or you?
I don't think, it won't ask them on the screen. It won't ask them at the moment, is this a holiday, do you want holiday pay?
Okay,
It'll be automatically calculated as part of their, job code or
you
their,
should still
Their
have like a
pay code.
weekly time card turn in or something, right? Like the.
They still
department
have to
should be
sign
reviewing-
off on it
Yeah.
at the end of the pay period,
Yeah.
right? And then it will go through whatever approval process the department wants set up so that someone can double check it, and then it goes over to payroll.
Okay, so it prints out, whatever bi-weekly or weekly report for the department head.
You can.
You can, I mean, it wouldn't necessarily be set up that way, but let's say the Friday before payroll, that department head would log in, just like they do in Kronos right now. If they have Kronos, log in and take a look at everyone's time. Okay, I approve David's time. Oh, no, it looks like maybe Heather forgot to use the 2 hours of sick time. I'm gonna tell her to go back in and take a look. And then, or I could go ahead and change it for them. So it's not a physical piece of paper.
So you can click on any one of these employees and actually
David,
see.
three questions.
yes.
The maintenance agreement's like 40,000 a year. What are we saving by moving towards one timekeeping system?
So, I don't have an exact number for you, but here's what we pay today. We pay for Kronos, monthly, about $4 per user per month. So that's, roughly $1,000 a month today. We also pay, maintenance on the clocks with Kronos today, and that's about $2,500 a year. And then we also pay for the phone-in feature, which is about $300 a month. So if you add all that up, I don't know what that number is, but it would be about 12,000 plus 3,600. So we pay about 17,000 a year for Kronos today.
And that's not everybody's on.
No, that's
And
just like,
that's half the county.
right.
And so this is gonna be a new system that's going to be roughly the same or less for everybody.
So the hard costs seem like they're more. But we have a payroll department right now working with, what, 3 or 4 different?
3 different systems. We have ESS, we have Kronos, and then we still have paper spreadsheet.
Yeah, so, and we're eliminating the paper, right?
Most of the paper, so say, Promise Partners, they will not be going to this new system. They have very few that we process, they'll still be sending it over paper. I've spoken with them, I've spoken with Jenna, it takes no time because theirs is so small. So though, and juvenile detention, they're not gonna be going over this either, onto this either. They again, do we have a 28E with them? I think so, and we do their payroll and their, other things for them, and they pay us a certain amount, but they aren't going over to this. They would have to pay for this. And so after conversations with all of them, they're not going to at this time. Could be something we explore in the future, but payroll is aware of that and they're okay with the ones that are not going over.
So just those two aren't going.
The assessor's office isn't going over either.
Oh, really?
Why?
They use ESS, and so ESS is not Kronos, but ESS is still supported through Tyler. And they just wanted to keep doing it that way. They haven't had any issues. And I don't think there was any charge for ESS.
It's built into what we already pay with Tyler.
Second one, what's the timeframe to get this implemented?
So I just got an email this morning from Tyler to kick off the project. Thursday, they want to kick it off, and they say it will take about 9 months to do.
Do we tackle the largest number of employees first, that department, or we get them all on?
We'll go department by department.
Okay.
I don't know if there's different schools of thought. Is it better to do the hardest, most difficult ones first, or is it better to do the easy ones first? We're gonna defer to Tyler and let them help us. They've done this 1,000 times with lots of other customers. We have very complex ones and we have very simple ones. IT is very simple, the jail is very difficult. We'll have to figure out which one's the best way to go.
Is the jail on it now?
They're on Kronos now,
Oh, right.
yep. So they're on a time clock system now, yes.
Okay.
So if employee A forgets to punch out, does the clock automatically clock them out at their?
No, so that employee could go in the next day and go in and correct that time.
Okay.
And I am fairly sure when the department head, let's say the employee never went in and corrected their time, when the department head goes in to review their time, there should be like a little red flag or something saying, hey,
Punch, yeah.
yes, miss punch, and then it would get corrected from there. But the employee can go backwards in time. But again, then it shows a record so we can double check, were they supposed to edit their time? That sort of, but we do want employees to have the opportunity to edit their time. It takes a lot of weight off of some of the leadership.
And that's part of the learning process, I suppose.
So,
Okay.
so they have to have this, right?
If they're gonna clock in with a time clock, yes.
Right.
Yep.
So if they don't.
Our badge is good to go? Like, really
Yeah,
serious?
we sent the badge off to them and they checked it with the clock to make sure it worked, and it does.
Cause
But if they forget their badge, they also can't get in the door.
right,
So, okay,
Right.
that
So
leads me to the
badges,
next question.
time, and door access.
right.
Do we
So
have a
if
door
someone-
access app too, or not?
Will this have a door access?
So do we have one? Do we have the capability to access doors with a phone?
No. Not that I'm aware, but that would be a good question for Sam with all these new updates that we've made to it. So let's say an employee forgets their badge and they tailgate in, get in, the door behind someone else. Once they get to their desk, they could log into the website and sign in that way if they needed to. So there's still an option.
Okay.
David, is this your recommendation to move forward?
Absolutely, yes.
Jenna, is this your recommendation?
Yes.
I'll make that motion, Scott.
I'll second it.
Second it.
Shane.
Okay. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Hearing none, motion passes.
I think we should check into that though, because if they forget their badge, it would, if they're able to go into the app and clock in and out, I wonder if there's a capability to unlock the doors too.
So we just have one badge.
Well, so I'm comparing it to where I work now. I actually just go to get in and out of the building, I just go to the app and I click that button and it lets me in. And the same application allows me to clock in and out as well. So, I mean, you still.
I'll take the action to ask Sam and,
Does it scan
Jason
it?
Slack.
It's just.
No, like it won't work here, but I open this app up and it says access. And
Right.
then when I get close to the door, it'll pop up the door and I just click
Oh,
the button
okay.
and it lets me in.
Interesting, what's that?
This
Software?
one's is mobile access software.
Oh.
It's synced through, we use Kronos.
I think this will help
It syncs
you
through
guys.
Kronos.
So if you don't have your phone, then what?
If you don't have your phone, you have to basically hit the doorbell and let someone let you in, you go to the computer.
Okay,
But, otherwise you have your badge, obviously.
right.
We'll see quite a savings after a time, won't we?
I think we will, for sure.
Yeah, a few
Well, I
years
think-
down the road, we'll pay.
It
And
eliminates
we're saving a lot of payroll time too.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
And fat finger stuff and errors and well, the communication's gonna be much simplified, I think.
And even just the reporting feature where, you know, every year we wanna go check and look at overtime or something. It puts an extra layer of validation on top of what's there. Cause right now, we're getting spreadsheets that are saying this person was here and they worked 10 hours overtime. That very well may be true. That same employee might have got shorted time that they should have otherwise had. You know, they're like, oh, I think I was there about 5 hours more, you know. Maybe they were there 8 and we didn't know. This will fix that.
It'll help a lot too, because once you export Kronos, then over to Jenna and Audrey will do that, Kronos is closed. So if there's anything that needs to be changed, it gets changed in Tyler and doesn't get changed in Kronos. So that timesheet there's a chance it might not be accurate if something still needed to be changed. And so now we have records that don't exactly match. This will change all of that because they talk to each other.
And it's live, if they wanna look at their sick leave or their comp time or whatever.
And they'll be able to do it on their phone, which is also something that many people have been asking for a long, long time.
Okay. Okay, Matt, what did you, find out?
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Good job.
We voted on that, right, Becky?
So Matt Wilbur wants me to come back next Tuesday. He said if you guys want, an indemnity clause in there, he's gonna put one in there. So he'll do it as an addendum 2 under their Article 6. So we'll sign this agreement and then we'll sign our addendum to it and send it back to them. Since they've already approved it on their end, they'll have to approve that addendum that we send down there with the liability, so.
So he thought we should have something in there.
He says if that makes you more comfortable as a board, then that's what he'll do.
I'd like that. I really would. I think so. I don't know that we voted on that last one, did we? We made a motion and
I called for the vote right after,
I don't remember it, but okay.
I don't either.
yeah.
I didn't recall.
Then we started asking more questions.
You're right, you did. Because then I asked about the mobile app.
Right.
We did.
You're right, one second, yeah. Thanks for doing that, Matt.
Yeah, we'll see ya.
See you later. Okay, next up we have Becky Linehan, Finance and Tax Officer, Auditor's Office, discussion and or decision to approve and authorize the board to sign resolution number 99-2021 entitled Resolution to Transfer from Property Acquisition Improvement Fund to Special Law Enforcement Fund.
What's that all about?
So move.
Second. It's,
Why is it 32?
So,
There's still some outstanding checks out there that were put underneath the old funded number. So
Okay.
that'll actually balance it to 0
Okay.
after it clears.
so that will, if you look in the,
We'll be done with that.
That fund will be zeroed out after Heather does the
Took
transfer.
their checkbook away.
Hopefully. I'll call Linda after we're done.
you're saying the special law enforcement fund's gonna be zeroed out?
Got more checks.
But the forfeiture fund is
Thanks.
still exist.
Janet.
It'll exist in case they want to someday down the road put money in there, but it won't have anything in it. It'll be zero.
Okay.
And we did verify the costs that ran over, they were for the addition
Right.
at the sheriff's station.
office.
Which, we did the transfer of the 1.5, a week or 2 ago. So it should have been coming out of there, but instead they still ran under the
I
old one,
guess
so.
I should have asked, when was the last time money was put into the forfeiture fund?
I don't have any idea.
A long time ago.
It's been quite a
Really?
while.
Is it-
Yeah, we don't have, I don't know if I want to say anymore. It's been a while. There's gonna be more coming on this, right?
Yeah, that's why, I think it's like, if you look at the fund balance sheet, it's like negative $410 or something. So with what we know is already out there, which is, 32,000 out there. So this transfer puts it
There's-
right at 0.
Yeah, there's 2 outstanding checks out there. So I've added those plus the negative amount of the 460.71.
My only question is, when we, moved that money, that 1.5 million, they should have had about $100,000 left in that account.
that they've spent.
Okay, I thought all of their expenditures were for the construction and we need to reimburse them for that?
Well, I think that, no, we haven't gotten an answer back yet, have we, on that? Because there should have been like, because when we approved the 1.5, there was like 1.598, there's an extra 98,000 in there. They haven't, and our goal is to get it to zero first and then see if they're gonna want reimbursed that 98,000 back into that fund or not.
Right, cause they've got some that they paid out of that fund.
So that's
Weren't
still,
they getting some exercise equipment or something?
that's coming out of a bond
Don't know what,
Bond
that's
fund
coming out
money?
of bond, I think.
that we converted. So you might see one more for reimbursement back in there, like I said, with that 98,000. But we haven't heard anything specifically from them back on it yet. They do know that we're just gonna try to get this to zero that way. And we can verify that those funds that were spent were for that building,
Yeah,
so.
I know he was looking, I know he was counting on that money for something.
Yeah, I mean, I assume that's gonna come up, but,
So, yeah, we'll
It
probably have
hasn't
another transfer then.
so.
Well, certainly don't wanna give it all to them if we don't have to.
It's not our call.
Well,
No,
we just need to know what the expense was for.
They were like HGM costs, I did do a breakdown, pulled it out, it was all for the building.
It shouldn't have been HGM.
Even,
A&D Technical
no,
Supply,
yeah.
DLR Group,
No, but what's
DR Anderson.
the 60 that's still, if it was supposed to be 90?
well, they spent 56,000 on DR Anderson Construction for the renovation.
I know he's looking to redo his gym, and I know he's looking to get body armor too, so, I mean, those will eat up that money pretty quick.
So all of these costs are for the renovation. So there may be another transfer.
I'd rather him spend it there than open up the door elsewhere.
Okay. Roll call, any other discussion?
No.
Roll call?
Chairman Belt,
Aye.
Supervisors Wickman, Groby,
Aye.
Schultz,
Aye.
Shay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Next up, we have a discussion or decision to approve or disallow the following applications made to the assessor's office.
So moved.
And
Sorry, unless
do you want me to read them off?
I don't think it matters.
No,
Okay.
everybody should have got those, the ones that were denied, there was a reason for the denial. So I'm okay with all of them. Justin, what is the,
Did you make a second?
I can,
Who did something?
I just have a
motion that we
Schultz
need a
for-
second.
I just said
So what were you gonna
Schultz.
ask?
sure. Iowa National Guard, how many years you have to serve to earn the military exemption?
It's based on your disability compensation, so,
Oh, it's not years of service?
well, I guess, what are we talking?
Well-
Just your military exemption?
Well,
have so
yeah,
many days of
because
active
that,
time.
Active duty.
let me get back to that.
He had no active duty.
You have to have so many years of active service, and then that accumulates like basically a point value, and then you have to be beyond that.
The Iowa National Guard, this person only had 6 years of active duty training and he doesn't qualify.
Yeah, so he has basically no active duty. He did one enlistment as a National Guardsman, but his active duty time was literally 2 weeks a year, maybe. You know, so when you calculate that up, 2 weeks times 6, you're not, I think it's like a minimum of 2 years. 2 years of active service accumulated time. So this person that you're talking about is gonna have basic training in AIT. They're gonna have their annual trainings that they've done every single year, and if they're ever put on orders like say flood duty or they're deployed or something like that, in that 1 year period or that one enlistment of 6 years, they'll have to accrue so much a point value of, I think it's about 2 years of active service time to qualify for this.
Do you qualify?
Yeah, I've got like 6 years active time.
That's all, I was just kinda curious.
So like, I've been in almost 22 years now, well, 21 now, I'm on my 22nd year now. But I've got 6 active duty time built up over the course of those years. So Afghanistan.
You're talking about deployment to Afghanistan and
Korea, yeah, I've done a handful of things. So.
Awesome, okay,
And you seconded that?
sure.
Okay, any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Hearing none, motion passes.
So for today, I will make a motion to adjourn, we have some, resolutions we need to sign, all right?
Yeah,
I'll second.
okay, second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Hearing none, motion passes. We're adjourned.